I was sitting at the kitchen table, nursing a lukewarm cup of coffee, when she walked past me, keys jingling in her hand. "Where are you going?" I asked, my voice calm, almost casual, but inside something tightened, a subtle knot of unease I couldn't shake. She smiled, that smile I had once adored, the one that used to make my chest feel like it could hold the whole world. "Just stepping out for a bit," she said lightly, sliding past me and out the door. But something in the way she lingered in the doorway made me freeze. It started weeks ago. Small things I could almost convince myself were innocent. Missed calls, hushed phone conversations when I walked in, the sudden obsession with privacy over texts. I told myself I was overthinking. She loved me, right? But the tiny, nagging voice in the back of my mind whispered warnings I didn't want to hear. That evening, she left her phone on the counter. I wasn't proud of what I did next, but curiosity burned hotter than reason. Her messages lit up the screen like tiny betrayals. One from my ex. Just a name I hadn't seen in months, maybe years, but it was enough to make my stomach twist. I scrolled, heart-hammering, eyes wide. The words hit me in slow motion. "Are you coming tonight?" I invited her. My mind raced, memories twisting themselves into sharp shards. I remembered my ex, what she had taken, what I had lost. And now my wife, my partner of 3 years, smiling at me like she hadn't just accepted an invitation from the one person I'd always despised. I tried to breathe, tried to rationalize, but each second stretched into a nightmare I couldn't escape. The following days were a blur of suspicion. She laughed at jokes I didn't understand, made excuses for leaving the house, and checked her phone with an intensity one had never seen before. I watched her, each glance, each gesture, trying to decode what she wasn't saying. I questioned myself endlessly. Was I paranoid? Was I imagining it? But deep down, I knew something had changed. One evening, I confronted her, keeping my voice low, controlled. "I need to know, did you go out with him?" I asked. She looked at me, calm, almost amused. "Who?" she said, pretending ignorance. My chest tightened. I felt rage, betrayal, heartbreak, all at once, but I forced myself to stay quiet, to watch her reaction. She smiled again, faintly, just enough to tell me that my fears weren't unfounded. It wasn't until I found the pictures, hidden in a shared cloud album, that everything clicked. She had gone to dinner. Smiles, laughter, moments that had once belonged to my life. Stolen in plain sight. The sight of them together, so casually intimate, made my hands shake. I felt like the floor beneath me had vanished. We didn't fight. Not loudly, not violently. It was quiet, cold, a slow unraveling. I remember sitting across from her at the kitchen table. The same table where I had asked the first question, drinking coffee that tasted bitter with reality. "Why?" I whispered, though I already knew the answer wouldn't make sense. She looked down, tracing a ring on her finger, eyes avoiding mine. "I don't know," she admitted finally, in a voice that sounded like mine, like the words had been borrowed from my own disbelief. The days that followed were haunted by memories, each one now tinged with a sting I couldn't erase. The way she laughed at my jokes, the way we shared late-night snacks, the quiet intimacy of mornings. Everything felt like a lie, rewritten by her choices. I mourned not just a betrayal, but the version of her I thought I knew. In the end, I made a decision that felt like breathing after holding my breath for too long. I left, quietly, deliberately, without fury, without spectacle. There was no dramatic confrontation, no public humiliation. Just me, reclaiming my life one step at a time. Walking away was the first time I felt like myself in months. And as I closed that door, I realized something profound. Betrayal doesn't just break trust. It clarifies who we are and what we deserve. I would carry the pain, yes, but also the lessons. The slow rebuilding of my life began not with anger, but with the quiet strength of knowing I would never settle for someone who didn't see my love as sacred. Some nights, I still replay her smile, the one that once felt like home. But now, it's just a ghost, a reminder that even in heartbreak, we can find the power to choose ourselves.